Joining me now is Bellator bantamweight Jornel Lugo, who takes on Keith Lee this Friday in South Dakota. Jornel, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Easy cut. I'm only going down to 140, so I'm half day chilling.
Yeah, I was going to call you a bantamweight. I wasn't sure. I kind of got hung up on that. Catchweight, contract weight fighter. How did that come together? Was it just something you guys agreed on?
I mean, I can make 35 easily. I'm always in shape. I'm always staying. I always keep my weight low because I fast. I do intermittent fasting, so I'm constantly fasting 18 to 20 hours. So for me to make 35 wouldn't have been a problem. But and I can still make 35 right now if I had to. But I guess Keith Lee said he was too big. I don't know if exactly that's what he said, but that's what I was told, that he wouldn't be able to make the weight in time, so we had to do 140.
Yeah, and I know before, when we talked to you last after your last fight, you kind of said, you know, it's time for you to kind of take a bump up in the world, take a step up in competition. Keith Lee is a tough guy. He's been around. He's fought some top contenders. Was this the kind of matchup that you were looking for?
Definitely. It's definitely a good fight for me. It's a good fight to showcase that, because he's well-rounded everywhere. So it's a good fight for me to showcase that I'm better everywhere and that I'm not just well-rounded. I'm really good everywhere. And, you know, it's annoying to have to say that. So that's why I'm just going to prove it on Friday.
Yeah. And how do you think your progression's coming along? I mean, you went from the guy that kind of had a tryout fight, right? A contract on an unofficial contract on the line or whatever you call it. And you've rolled on, and now you're fighting like I said, kind of a bigger name. So do you feel like this journey through Bellator so far, you're on track for where you're trying to go?
Yeah, definitely. I think they gave me good fights, so far. Like, they weren't easy fights because the first guy, that fight was against another undefeated fighter. I was 4-0 and he was 4-0. And then I fought a guy, and then I fought Cass Bell, who was 5-1. So these guys had good records and they were good fighters. And now I'm fighting a guy who's 7-4 and had a lot of experience in the division. So definitely not easy fights, but they're not putting me against the number one contender right now either. So I think Bellator is doing their job correctly, so that way when the time comes that I am in the tournament, I'm fighting these guys, I'm going to be prepared for that.
And it's been a pretty dominant run for you in Bellator so far. Do you feel like that exact run will continue? Do you think Keith will bring it to you a little more? You're in for a battle in this one, or kind of what are you expecting when you guys get in there?
Well, my goal is always to make sure when I go in the ring that the fight is not close. I don't want it to be like, oh, these guys are about the same. I want to go in there and dominate completely. So every fight that I go on, you're not going to see me go in there and get into a war. I'm going to go in there and win with class. So I'm planning on doing that to him and then everybody else that I fight after that.
Bantamweight's an interesting division right now. I think it's not only one of Bellator's best at the moment, but kind of MMA as a whole. You see it in the UFC too. A lot of rising stars. And that's got Scott Coker kind of talking about a bantamweight tournament recently. Do you feel like that's something that you would really be interested in, and potentially a slot in that is on the line here on Friday?
Yeah, easy $1 million, man. Easy $1 million and get that belt. I definitely think it's going to happen for sure. Like, it's going to happen. So winning this fight is just making sure that I'm going to be in it. And whether I fight one more time before then or not, who knows? Because if it happens, I'm guessing it'll probably happen in the first or second quarter next year. So within like springtime or summertime. So I think I'll have my spot in that tournament for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I guess we always talk about with younger fighters, like the journey to improve and to get to the point where they can contend for a title. Do you feel like that this tournament, you with the Bellator tournaments, you hop right in the mix, right? You could end up in a title fight in the second round. Do you feel like you're at that point yet where you could fight with those, championship level fighters?
This is what's crazy. Before the tournament ever happened, like before I even fought for Bellator, I remember there were talks about there might be a 35-pound tournament. And I always said, if I got signed to Bellator right now at like 2-0 or 1-0, I wouldn't want to be in a tournament. I would want to build first and then go up against the top guys. And my number, this is crazy, but I said the number that I wanted to be at was around 8 fights. So if things go as I think it's going to go, I think I'm going to fight this. I think I'm going to fight Keith Lee on Friday. I think I'm going to fight one more time before the tournament starts, right? Because I said it's going to start either Q2 or Q1 of next year. If I get one more in this year, I will go into the tournament at 8-0, which is the number that I thought I would be ready to fight anybody. I'm ready right now, but I just wanted to have like 8 fights just to get some more experience and develop more. So it's kind of crazy that like this tournament is going to start right where I thought it was supposed to, like when I'm 8-0.
Yeah, that's weird, man. You predict these things. Are there any matchups that really interest you? Like, obviously, like I said, you're not overlooking Keith. You got a tough fight in front of you on Friday. But when you look at this division and how good it is, I mean, across the board, is there a lot of excitement in the potential matchups once you get to that point?
Yeah. I mean, because there's so many names from freaking Sergio Pettis, Rafion Stotts, Magomed Magomedov, Patchy Mix, James Gallagher, Darion Caldwell, Brian Moore, Brett Johns. It's a lot of different guys in the division. There's so many big names, so it's going to be good. The thing too is like when James Gallagher was coming up or different people were coming up, they beat a lot of guys, but people always critiqued them and said that they beat trash cans because they had like 10 fights, but they never fought anybody. So by me getting into a tournament at such a young point, when my record is 12-0 or something like that at that time, no one's going to be able to say, oh, you beat all trash cans, because I beat everybody in Bellator, like all the different Bellator ranked fighters. So no one's ever going to be able to say, oh, you fought trash cans. Nope, I beat top fighters.
You mentioned James Gallagher, which is kind of the low hanging fruit. It's easy for me to just ask people to call it James Gallagher because it happens across the board. But I know that you kind of have a little bit of history by association with him. I know your boy Mike Kimball kind of on James at one point in time. It didn't happen. Do you feel like that you could be the guy kind of to carry the flag for your squad in terms of that little rivalry there, or is that only between Mike and James?
Mikey's a hothead when it comes to certain things, man. Like in that situation, like I don't really exactly know the whole situation, but they took that past where it was supposed to be. It's supposed to. This is a sport, and this is supposed to stay more like just like if we were playing Uno, you know, if me and you were playing Uno, I'm going to tell you you're trash and I'm better than you. You can't beat me, but I'm not going to start talking about your family, and we're not going to talk about killing each other. They just took a little bit past where it should be. But yeah, when the time comes, James Gallagher is just another person that's going to be. You know what I say, right? I say skills pay the bills. James Gallagher is just going to be another bill, just like all the rest of them, you know. So it's nothing personal. He doesn't make a difference to me.
Yeah, and you name dropped Uno pretty quick there. You big Uno guy?
Well, I am big a Uno, so. Yes,
yeah. I didn't know if the nickname was going in there at all, but if it was a play on words or whatever.
I'm nice at Uno, so that's why I brought that up.
Yeah, no, I got you, man. Well, I wish you the best of luck on Friday, Jornel, and I really appreciate the time, man.
No doubt.